I don't think I do it.
Arsenal started like house on fire. Signing number 2 for this new era. It's Judgment Day, people. Yeah! What did your boy tell you? It was never in doubt. Never in doubt. Don't believe in any drug, I believe I'm self-made, yeah. Oh, it looks good. It looks good. Now then, people. Now then, Max. Luke and, of course, Rocco. How are we doing?
Fantastic, thanks.
Tip of the proverbial hat for that, Joe.
Yes,
Very
it was
good.
good, wasn't it?
Very
It was good. How are you all doing, man? Let's not talk about Chelsea Leeds for a bit because that was pretty drab, and yeah, it is what it is. Let's talk about today's result. I know. Listen, I've done a little YouTube short, and people are going, "Where you do know we're in a relegation battle," and I'm like, "Relax, man. Enjoy it. Just enjoy the moments because they're few and far between." Our biggest rivals just been thumped 7-0. I think it's their record defeat, or at least equals their record defeat. I've had to deal with Man United fans telling me they're back. Eric Ten Hag's got them back. They won the Carabao Cup. They're in a title race. And then they've gone to Anfield and been absolutely slapped up. Cody Gakpo getting a couple as well, which is nice because obviously there was a lot of chat of him maybe going there and he was washed and all this sort of stuff.
One of our own, Cody Gakpo.
One of our own, Joe. One of our own. Talk to me, Joe. How are you feeling about that?
Agent
result?
Cody.
I watched it and I spent most of the time just going. Yeah, that's nice. Joe, are you saying that we should celebrate moments? Is that what you're telling us that we should be doing?
Oh, I don't.
Just on that, it's 7 minutes past 8.
Great stuff. I know, right? Celebrate their moments. Enjoy them for what they are. Yeah, that's pure Jesse speak, isn't it? I should wash my mouth out. Rocco, how are you feeling, mate? Good?
Yeah, absolutely delighted. It's a good weekend all in all after today's results, I'd say. Got to take what you can. My brother was there. He's a massive Liverpool fan, so he's had a selfie underneath the scoreboard. Fair play to him. Yeah, you love to see it. That was absolutely shambolic from Scum. Worst of the post Fergie era, I'd say.
Yeah.
And at least when we got pumped, we had Phillips missing. Like they had pretty much the full team out. So yeah.
Casemiro was going to destroy everyone, weren't he? You know what I mean?
And the butcher.
Yeah, the butcher.
It was more like a bloody barber, wasn't it? A dog barber.
It's not every team that can go to Anfield and win, you know.
Exactly, mate. This is what I'm saying. It's brilliant, man. Yeah, it must work in a vegan butcher's or something like that. Maybe that's where it's slicing up lettuce instead, something like that.
My favorite bit of the whole thing was Fernandez looking to come off.
Oh no, yeah, I know. Do you know what? Like it's brilliant. I've been watching loads of memes. I can't lie to you. And there's like a clip of like these people that look like them. Have you seen the guy that looks like Bruno Fernandes? I'm going to find it on Instagram and I'll share it. But Max, how are you feeling after that, mate? You must be happy.
Yeah, just I saw a clip on Twitter of Goldbridge saying, with this back four, De Gea, Casemiro, and that back
seen
four,
it.
It's just a team that won't concede 3 or 4 goals. And then I think it was Ash that put it together, and then it just cuts to the 7th goal going in, and him just going, no. Unreal.
It is. Let me show you this thing anyway. Someone sent it me on Instagram, so I've been laughing at this. Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, and obviously Anthony, the fidget spinner. It was brilliant. Oh, it's good, man. Luke, how are you feeling about that one, buddy? It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's taken the edge off a relatively poor weekend in terms of sporting results for me. I'm a Wakefield Trinity fan as well, so yeah, it don't get any easier. Every weekend's just shit at the minute, really. But that certainly made it a decent weekend. Yeah, look, if you can't enjoy it now, when can you enjoy it? You know, if we're in a relegation battle, they're back. You know, they're pushing for the title this year. There's a chance of a quadruple and all these sort of bollocks. Absolute knackers. Sit down.
Yeah, brilliant. It's so true though as well, right? Because I think who was it? I think we'd just been beaten by Southampton, and then it came out in the press about Qatar buying Man United. And I've got a good friend of mine who's a big Man United fan, and he's messaging me, and I'm thinking, oh my god, we're going to get relegated. I have to deal with the fact that Man United not only look half decent under Eric Ten Hag, they're about to get bankrolled by a bloody state, which means their time of their struggling to be at the top. It's just all going to come back in the flick of an eye with that money. So the fact, yeah, enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. You know what I mean? Definitely. I mean, I went to the Leeds United ladies game today against Newcastle, and they were beat as well. They were beat 2-0, which was rubbish. So you've got to enjoy these moments. I mean, what did we make to the earlier result? Everton versus Forest, lads. I think for me, I did in the back of my mind think Everton would win, and I said on social media, even if they did win and we ended up in the bottom three, I don't think it would have been that bad of the thing. Obviously, it was perfect for us. But when you actually look at the bottom of that table now, there is so many teams that are in danger of the drop. Leicester, Palace out of it. There's so many teams, isn't there? Like, so was it the perfect result for us today?
Yeah, I think so. I think 2 points shared is better than any team around there getting 3 points. And I think as long as those teams continue to draw around us and when they play each other, that's got to be the best outcome for us. Is teams picking up just one or two. So providing we beat them when we play them, I think is the main. Is the main issue with that one. It's great them getting points, but if we don't start getting points, then it becomes a bit of a problem. But yeah, absolutely the best result for us is to have more people dragged into that relegation battle.
Yeah, I was talking to Locks, who's a big Leicester fan, a couple of weeks ago, and they'd just beat Spurs, and he was going to me, "We'll get top 10 now." I said, "There's only like 14 games left, mate." He said he were going to win 10, and he went, "No, I mean 9." I went, "What, you're going to win 9 games now between now and the end of the season?" "Yeah, we'll get top 10. And then since then, they've been dumped out of the cup by Blackburn, obviously beaten at the weekend by Southampton. And I messaged him and I was going, "Oh, we must be just 2 points off top 10 now then, mate." And he was going, "Nah, yeah, we're shit. So there's so many teams down there, man. It's gonna be one for me that's gonna go all the way till the end of the season. You know what I mean? Normally at this stage, a Sheffield United, a Norwich, a West Brom, Fulham in previous seasons are languishing at the bottom of the table, but there's just not been any of that this time around, and it's going to go right to the wire. And let's talk about Leeds versus Chelsea then. Obviously, Max, I was pretty confident before the game. I actually come away from the game thinking we should have got something from it. I do think, yes, we were battered for 30 minutes, but it was 2 not great teams. I think the most frustrating thing for me now is seeing fans saying, "Well, we should have never got anything down there anyway. What are you complaining about?" And I'm like, no, because they were in dire form. They'd scored 6 goals since November. I think they'd lost 3 on the spin in all competitions. And actually seeing them playing Leeds, they weren't that great either. So I think I was so frustrated that we didn't take anything from it, but still have a little bit of confidence seeing that we still defended really, really well, you know. And I think, you know, Luke mentioned about teams we've got to beat. We play Forest at home in a couple of weeks. For me, I think, yeah, I'm confident. I know we've got Brighton up next, but I'm like, we've got to go for free, man. We've got to go for free. But what are your initial thoughts on that Chelsea game, pal?
Well, I think the first sort of 10 to 20 minutes was like the shakiest we've looked at any point under Gracia, and they had the most chances. They had more chances in that 20 minutes than Fulham and Southampton created in 90 minutes. But the thing that happened that didn't happen under Marsh is that we came out of that 20 minutes unscathed, and we started building into the game. And in that 20 minutes, we were all saying, like, I'm worried because we can't keep the ball. We can't retain possession. We just keep passing it into touch, passing it to their players, giving them chances that way. But as the game went on and as the first half went on, we started to grow into it. And we started to get balls into the box. We started to actually be a little bit more calm in possession, hold it for longer periods of time, actually try and build attacks. So I think on the balance of the game, we definitely deserve something out of that. And now I think probably a point would have been a fair result from that game. And that's what I said I would have been happy with before we went into that game, because although, like you say, they'd been terrible, you can still look at their squad and go, like, unbelievable. They've got a World Cup winner that they've just signed in midfield for 120 million. Like, their squad is ridiculous. Like, the amount of money that they've spent on it. So you kind of, I get why people were saying, no, we never would have expected to get anything anyway. But I also think when you actually watch the game and on the balance of the game, we deserve something from it. Because I think as the game went on, we got better and better, and we still had a little bit of a spell after half time, which is when we conceded. And then after that, we were better again. Some of the substitutions a bit later on, I didn't really agree with yesterday. It's the first time Gracia's made a substitution that I've gone, I wouldn't have taken Aronson off. I think Aronson was one of our most creative players, one of our players who looked like he was going to make something happen. And I don't think, like, there's no need to take Rutter off unless he's not 100% fit or something. Like, why take Rutter off when we haven't got a recognised striker to back him up? Well, we have, but like Mateo Joseph, I've never seen him doing anything in the first team that warrants coming in. Like, I would rather have kept Rutter on. I thought he looked a lot better than he had done in his first couple of games. I just would have kept him on and Aronson on, and Harrison would have come off for Nonto, possibly at half time, maybe just a few minutes into the second half. But yeah, all in all, I think we deserved a point. Yeah,
I agree, and I've made some notes as you've been speaking, just things I wanted to ensure that we pick up on through the stream. But Jack Harrison, I think we're all going to have a little bit to say on him. Jer, I'll come to you. I know you were pretty scathing in our little group chat we've got, but I agree with Max. I don't know how he stayed on the pitch as long as he had, and I would have subbed him off at half time. I think it'd be unfair for me to say I understood it pre-match. I was like, no, I get why Jack's in, experience, etc. But with hindsight, it's like, no, that was massively wrong. Nonto should have played and Jack Harrison shouldn't have been on the pitch as long. I don't know what minute he went off. Was it about the 70th, 80th or something like that when Greenwood came on?
Like 80th.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it, Joe?
I try and be sensible about this.
Let it out.
No, because it's not a reflection on Jack as a person, and it's not a reflection on what Jack has done for Leeds historically. Because he has had massive moments for Leeds, and I've said it before. Jack Harrison for me is a big game player, and I think that's why you play him against Chelsea, because you look at it and go, he has these big moments in him. They've just been less this season than they have been previous. He still managed to chip in with a couple of assists, even the assist last week against Southampton, although I don't think he meant it, but it was still an assist. But he struggled in the first half big time. He struggled with the ball under his feet, and one of the reasons I said a couple of weeks ago that I wanted to see Jackie in the 10 was because he can't cross the ball, but he's good with his feet. And he has got a good strike of a ball on him when he's shooting. So you want him central, but that didn't work. I think there was better options early in that game to change it. I agree with what Max said. I didn't agree with Aronson. Actually, Aronson was decent, not great, but decent. And Rutter as well. I would have taken Harrison off first, and it would have been Harrison for Nonto straight away. I wouldn't have waited until the second half, and I think there's big decisions to be made. I understand why he made the changes that he made in terms of Rutter and that, because he did it against Southampton. He brought off different players early to change how we attacked and change the style of play and try and catch them off guard. What I did notice about Joseph was he's a far more instinctive striker of a ball than Rutter is, or than any of the strikers we've got currently. He will try and have a shot in the smallest amount of space he can, and he was unlucky with one shot that he put through a defender's legs. But we didn't get the ball to him enough. We didn't get the ball to Nonto enough when he was on the park. And yeah, Jackie for me, I just think there's a time and a place to take a player out of the firing line. And I think Jackie is right in the firing line right now. I think now is probably the smart time to take him out of the firing line, give him a game or two on the bench, bring him on as an impact, see what he does, and then get him back in, because he started the season on fire, but he just hasn't been the same since before the World Cup, and afterwards he just hasn't come back the same. And he's not alone in that. And again, it's not a personal thing, but it's just he needs a break from me. So does Adams.
Interesting. Luke, you were nodding away there. Do you agree with Jer in terms of like Jack? Like, I wouldn't want him starting the next game, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Jack Harrison, I honestly have to really think hard this season to when he's had a good game, which isn't a great reflection on a player, because you know those thoughts count as a fan. And when we go on about here how fickle we are, he probably has had good games this season. I just can't remember them because he's been so dire recently. And again, it's not a personal attack. We're all thankful for Jack Harrison and the shifts he's put in for us over the time. But exactly as Joe says, he needs taken out of the firing line. We did it with, I think it was Bamford recently or last season or whenever it was before his long injury. It might have even been in the Championship, but he had we gave him a rest. He came back and scored, and he was free scoring. Sometimes a player needs to be taken out of the limelight to get that little bit of form back. It could be for all we know, he could be the hardest trainer. He could be the best footballer we know in training. But it's not reflecting on the pitch on a Saturday or a Sunday, wherever we play. And it looks almost a league below everybody else. And we haven't been great across the park recently. I mean, we've been better, but we haven't been. We've not been pulling up any trees. So for him to look a level below that is concerning for me. One thing I don't agree on with is I don't think we deserved a point yesterday on the balance of the game. No, I don't at all. I don't think. I think we've improved, but I think Chelsea pretty much probably could have got 3 or 4 on another day yesterday. And we looked very lackluster in front of goal in the final third as a whole, in fact. So yeah, I thought we were quite lucky to come out of that only 1-0. And yeah, the optimist in me before the game thought we could go down there and get something. But the realist in me, actually, we're away against a Champions League side that, look, they weren't in form, but they were always it was always going to be a tough game. There's no gimmies down there. So yeah, I disagree on that point. But yeah, in terms of Jack Harrison, yeah, give him a break. Who do you bring in? That's the question. I mean, do you start with Nonto or Somerville? And I felt Somerville was very poor yesterday for the first half an hour. Defensively, he left Luke Ayling wide open on no less than 5 or 6 occasions when Chilwell was bombing down the left. Just looked really lazy. First half hour of a game, it's not what you want to see. You want to see your players, busting a gut and supporting and making life a little bit easier for your right back. He wasn't doing that. So yeah, we've got a bit of a problem with all the wingers we've got. Which two would you start currently? I know Nonto's obviously been playing a lot recently, and I think he's been worked out to some extent as well. Yeah. Which will come with experience. He'll work out how to be a little bit smarter when he's got the ball at his feet and things like that. But a little bit of a predicament, and I think that's where the lack of chances are coming from.
Yeah. It's fair. Look, I mean, see, for me, I disagree. I thought we should have got something, and I thought we did deserve something. I hear what you're saying, though, that, Joao Felix hits the post, Meslier makes a great save from Havertz. So maybe on another day, you are right. They could have been 2 or 3 up. That is facts. But, I felt we rode it out pretty well. But yeah, again, I agree with you with the lackluster in front of goal. It either doesn't drop for us, or we just can't shoot. Or when, do you know what, Rocco? The most frustrating thing for me, and Aronson's been touched on, and I know Max said he was quite creative in that. I think our biggest moments came when Rutter or someone else played a through ball through to Aronson, and he was up against Koulibaly, and all it needed was just a small nudge from Koulibaly, and Brendan Aronson's on the deck, or he's overran it, because he's just not got that physical presence. So I admit it was good. It's just, I just wish it was the other way around, him putting it through to Rutter, because I think if Rutter's in that tussle with Koulibaly, maybe he comes out on top. But what are your just overriding thoughts on the game, Rocco?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what everyone said, really. I think, once we'd rode out the first half hour, which was very difficult, we'd done that. I think from thereafter, we were definitely good for a point. But yeah, I guess we did, we rode our luck to get to that point. I think it's a lack of quality in the final third. It's the final ball for me. It's not even the finishing. So many times we're in position and the ball's not good enough. Like, Rutter was probably the only one who did, like you say, he slipped in Aronson a couple of times. But, you look at those players like Harrison, I don't trust him with the final ball. Aronson, I don't trust him with the final ball. McKennie, I don't. I mean, McKennie against Fulham, that 5-yard pass to put Somerville in the first half, it was the simplest pass and he overhit it. And these are the little moments that are costing us constantly. Or picking the wrong option. Gnonto went through in the second half and tried to put it across goal when he should have had a shot. And it's just lack of confidence, lack of quality. It's only a few months since myself and others were saying that we've got an embarrassment of riches up there. Somerville was scoring every game, and Yonto was obviously on fire. And it's just looking now, the complete opposite. But yeah, I mean, I actually enjoyed the game. I'm still at the point where we've had 16 years out of the top division, having matches with our rivals that are like Huddersfield and Cardiff and Millwall. So to go and see us competing like that against Chelsea and giving them a proper good game, I enjoyed seeing that, but it was still frustrating, of course. I think overall, this is the start of Javi's reign, and he's definitely solidified us. So if he's starting from the back and working forward, then great. I know he's not going to have the impact of Bielsa, but we've seen managers like Gary Monk and George Graham, turn it around fairly quickly. So let's hope he can do that. And at the end of the day, I mean, I'm clinging now to my belief that Jesse Marsh is like one of the worst managers we've ever had. So we've got to improve if that's true. So fingers crossed.
There was a lot of stuff yesterday, and I started to obviously really berate the players in terms of the quality and the finishing, and of course people in the comments were like, "We told you it wasn't Jesse," and all this, and I was like, I'm still not having it. I'm just still not having that. Yeah. Anyway,
we're still improved, though, aren't we?
Yeah,
we can all see that
we've
improved.
Yeah,
I think we're a bit similar to the Brighton of a couple of years ago under Potter, and not even in the way that we play, but just in the way that they were always, I know people hate XG, but they were always said that if Brighton actually scored as many goals as the XG stat would say that they should have scored, they'd be way higher in the league. It
was like Europe, wasn't it, mate? Top 4 at one point.
Yeah, because they just didn't have a striker who could finish chances. And I was just thinking whilst you were talking that it can't go on forever. This
I'm clinging to that, Max.
Not being able to finish. But then I was thinking
said
about
that since Liverpool, haven't we?
I've been hanging on to that for 2 weeks now, going any minute now.
But this
someone's going to get it. Someone's going to get it.
This is what Brighton fans must have said, and until Potter left, and now it seems like they're taking advantage of the chances under De Zerbi, and now they're way up the league in 8th, and so it could continue like this. So we really need to just, I don't know, do something to get out of this this rut. But
I think the next couple of games are more important than this one. I don't think we stay up or go down losing 1-0 away to Chelsea. And if you look at the away record this season against the big clubs, beat Liverpool, competitive against Arsenal. Where are you against Arsenal? United. Man United.
Whoa!
Sorry, long day. Man United. Relax. If you look at that and go, well, you've beaten you've beaten Liverpool away. You've competed against Man United away, and you've lost. You drew against Man United away, and you only lost 1-0 to Chelsea. If you saw that on its own outside of the rest of the season, Leeds will be doing well this season. They're proper competing against these teams. The issue has always been with the teams that are down around us, and Javi hasn't had that crack at it outside of Southampton just yet, and he did beat Southampton. So there is improvement, and I agree with what Max said. Earlier on the season, we lose that game heavily, but we'll probably score a couple of goals. And what I said earlier on this year was Leeds can do 2 things, but not together. They can either go all out and attack, or they can defend in a low block like we did against Newcastle. It's not fun to watch, but we don't concede. But we can't do both. We can't defend and attack. And yesterday looked very much like a lot. I don't love looking at it. I don't love it. Especially the first half, watching a really deep low block and no press. So waiting until Chelsea got to the halfway line before we did anything, I didn't love it. I got really frustrated. Is the main word that everyone said, and I completely agree with it. It was very frustrating to watch. Just kind of just get at them. They're weak at the back. The 2 center halves are there to be got at. But if you do that, you leave the back door open, and you're more likely to concede a couple. And what I will say is that I didn't think we'd get anything because I thought Chelsea would turn around at some point, and it was probably going to be against us because it usually is against us. If we've said this before, if somebody says, "Oh, he hasn't scored in 16 years," he's scoring today. So I kind of half expected that, but at the same time, they did have chances, but they didn't score. The defense did its job. The keeper did his job. I mean, Melly makes a great save with one hand at one point, but that's his job. His job is to save things, and he did.
So like Roy Keane there, buddy.
Yeah, they did their job defensively, and I think outside of the inside of a centre half's calf, Rutter scores. Aronson probably scores in this first half as well. There were clear chances that we created. We just weren't clinical, and I think that's against Chelsea, who let's not forget that's a £500 million team, £500 million. They might be in a bad run of form, but there's still quality there when they needed to be there. And we got beaten by a set piece, which is just disappointing because that's all it was a corner at the end of it, So there is a lot of good things to come from that. I thought the defense did do their job really well. Yeah. The key thing is now, can Javi do both? Can he get a defensive performance out of us and some goals against teams that it matters against?
Yeah, and I think Kovacic was huge for Chelsea. It's there was so many players out, but I thought he was really, really great. In terms of like how we set up, because Jay, I just want to come back to you. I know you said you didn't enjoy it, but for me, the first game that I've enjoyed in a very, very long time was Fulham in the FA Cup. I said that in the game when we were getting beat 1-0. I said I'm actually enjoying watching us play here. And do you think why do you think that is? Like, for me, is it because of the formation? Is it because we were willing to have a go more and not potentially sit as low as we did against Chelsea? Or because I want to just focus on the lineup, because a lot of people say, well, there was no Rocker. He's your most creative midfielder, if you like. But would it have been a bit suicide to go with a 4-3-3 away at Chelsea?
I don't have an issue with the midfield too from a defensive perspective. I think we look more solid. I genuinely do. I think what we're lacking is a creative number 10. We're desperately screaming out for a creative number 10. We haven't got somebody who can pick the ball off those two and go and get the rest of the team going. So I don't have a massive issue with the two in the middle. Not that I enjoy it. I don't love that style of football. I don't love it really defensive. I mean, there was a point in the first half where I thought we could have got Sean Dyche in and done this. Like this is Sean Dyche football. It's everyone behind the ball. Ball goes left, everyone goes left. Ball goes right, everyone goes right. Ball goes forward, we stay. And I didn't love that part of it. And it's just out of being spoiled as a Leeds fan, because every other Premier League game I watch, that's what happens in it. That's pretty much the template of the smaller teams against the bigger teams who don't have the ball. That's pretty much what everybody does. We just had so many years of Bielsa attacking football. And then even under Jesse Marsh, it was mental, but we attacked, not that it was good, because obviously it wasn't, but, there was balls hopping around the opposition box. I don't love watching I know there's a need for it, so I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. I get it. I get that there's a requirement to be more solid at the back, especially against big teams. I just think I've been spoiled for probably too long, and I'm not loving watching that kind of football.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Luke, do you think, obviously, that had Bamford been fit, would he have gone with Bamford and Rutter, or do you think Rutter just gets the start because Bamford's not in?
I don't think he would have gone for both. No, I think it's something we should certainly be looking at. And I think Rutter will flourish in a front two as well. I just don't think he's experienced enough to put himself about to. We're asking a lot of a 21-year-old lad up against three centre backs. We should add. They were playing 5 at the back. So no, I don't think we would have played 2. Although it's certainly something worth exploring, and I think it would work. I was talking about it this morning with the OKB lads that maybe even playing him off Bamford, just to the side or just behind, not as a 10, but he just seems to have. He's almost a complete forward. It looks like he's good in the air. He's pacey, looks relatively strong. So he's almost a complete forward, but he's not the forward that we need to be getting the ball into his feet and expecting him to get 20 goals a season from right now. He's not. And will he be in the future? Potentially, but I think he's got to grow into that role. I'm not sure where. I thought he played really well yesterday. I thought he shown plenty of promise and looked something like the potential that we might have bought into. But I'm still undecided. In an ideal world, I think with Rutter, he would be a nice little bonus to come off the bench and break in gently. We're expecting a lot from somebody that's not obviously played a lot of football since before the World Cup. He's still relatively raw, and yeah, he'll get there in time, but he's not what we. I think we need Paddy Bamford back in there, and I'm probably going to eat my words here, but we need Paddy Bamford back in there to sort of stand up and be counted to get us through towards the end of this season. He's the type of player that could keep us up.
I thought Rutter was isolated a lot, though. I thought he found himself, especially in the first half, found himself on his own a lot, and was been asked to do an awful lot of holding, but not just hold the ball up, but hold it up, take a touch, take another touch, take another touch, and just keep waiting for people to get to him and help him.
Yeah, I mean, if Rodrigo was fit, I mean, ideally, I wouldn't even start Rutter. Then I'd play Bamford and Rodrigo.
Yeah.
So Rutter should be. Although we've spent a lot of money on this player, he should be a bit of a gimmick, a bit of a bonus to bring on, and should potentially change a game when teams are tiring and things at that age and that quality. Same with Nonto, same with Somerville. Realistically, they're good players. They've got some quality, but ideally, they're the type of players that you want to start breaking in relatively gently and sort of look after their game time slightly. So look. Absolutely, I still think we'll be fine. By the way, this season, I think we've got enough quality. The goals just need to start coming from somewhere. And as I said before, but I don't think Bamford in his current form is the right man. Before everyone starts attacking me on in the comments, I think he needs to find form of old for him to be of any use to us, first of all, but also to sort of stand up as one of the senior players in that squad and actually start leading us forward.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do like what it's mad how quick things can change and how fickle I am, because I was saying I'm not sure on Rutter, but I am quite excited by the prospect of him playing on the shoulder of the last man with someone being able to, get it in behind for him. You know what I mean? We've seen, I think, under Grazia at Watford, he played something similar. I know Max touched on it before with Troy Deeney and Andre Gray. Do you know what I mean? So could see something like that. I know we've had some super chats in as well, folks, and I will get to them when they fit in line. I'm just reading that. We'll touch on that a little bit later on, because I do want to talk about what the future holds for Leeds United. Rocco, Joe touched on earlier the defence at Leeds United, and I know we lost yesterday, but for me, I still can't remember a time yesterday where Koch and Vauban looked troubled. I thought Firpo, again, for me, was standout, both going forward and backwards. I think he made a challenge on Sterling in the first 5 minutes, and I went, oh, no, we're getting that Firpo. How the referee didn't book him, I do not know. I think because it's
Joe, we made 2 inside 5 minutes.
I know, right? Because Chilwell actually absolutely scythed down. I think it was Somerville at one point, and I thought, oh, he's got away with one there because he let Firpo off with one. But just defensively, Rocco, in general, Ayling, Firpo, Koch and Vauban, they look solid as well.
Yeah, they do. I think Koch's in the best form he's been in by a distance. He looks really, really good, actually. So I'm delighted with him. And Woba's just been pretty solid the whole time. So they look a good partnership. And like you, Joe, like I enjoyed the shape against Fulham and how organised we were. Like I enjoyed seeing us look like an organised football team. So yeah, I'm happy from that perspective, and that's what I'm sort of basing my my hope on, really. It is that sort of going forward it will just click at some point, because there's no doubt we've looked a lot more solid, and the results speak for themselves. We've conceded to a set piece and we've conceded to 2 worldies, so it's a good start. We just need to make sure we keep that consistency now. I think Ayling's playing brilliantly. That's a good start. It's a good foundation for us to move forward. And Brighton coming up, they're a good team, but there's no reason to think that we can't beat them. And if we are defensively solid, we nearly beat them down there. Like we played bad, but we were literally the length of a stud away from taking the lead with about 15-20 minutes to go. So I think the defence is a big plus and a big tick in Xavi's box to start with, and it's right that he starts there as well.
Yeah, and would you want us to go back to that 3-man midfield at home? Because I have it in my mind that I know we're playing Brighton and I know they're really good and Matoma and March are flying and all this sort of stuff, but I think at home, Leeds United need to be a little bit more on the front foot. They need to try and have a go and try and win games. And I think we might see Grazia, I'm just guessing here, switch from that 4-2-3-1 to the 4-3-3, depending on opponent and if he wants to go out and win the game. What do you reckon?
Yeah, possibly. From a tactical point of view, I wouldn't be able to really give comment. But I mean, I like us in a 4-3-3. But I also like the idea of playing two up front. Rutter with Bamford. I guess it's something different. It's something different to try, and it might just click and it might just work. And it's the sort of thing that could work. You could see why it would work. It makes sense, I think, to try something when you're struggling for goals so badly, putting two strikers up front that should be capable at this level seems like the right thing to do. So, yeah, I mean, to the untrained eye, I think I'd quite like to see us just go 4-4-2 with two proper strikers and see how we go from there. Not including Aronson. If Bamford's not fit and obviously Rodrigo's not fit, then yeah, probably go the other way. But yeah, once we've got two fit strikers to choose from, I would do that. I'm frustrated that we let Gelhardt go. I think it was criminal. That's now in the back of my mind. The guy saved us last season. Without him, we were gone. I can't believe that they let him go. And I know at the time Rodrigo wasn't injured, so it's all hindsight really. But it's just a silly risk. Silly risk for me.
What I will say, I've not seen him. But obviously, I live in Sunderland, and he's not going down well up here. To be honest, they're not. Yeah, they're not. They're not really rating him, if I'm being totally honest. But yeah, here's what it is. Some do, some don't, but the majority are like, yeah, that. So, because I was talking to my mate about it the other day and thinking, is it another one of them players that we as fans have gone, this guy's got a big future? And it's like, is he going to quite make the grade? I'm not too sure, because I'm still not sure, me personally, what position he is. Is he a 10? Is he a 9? I genuinely don't know. Max, I'll come to you because you are along with Joe, the more tactical savvy of the group. That's no disrespect to myself, Rocco or Luke, but I would say they probably all agree. How do you see Leeds United lining up moving forward against Brighton?
I've actually just sent it in our Twitter group. I made the lineup just because I wanted to talk about this.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you'll be able to.
Are you able to share the screen? Yeah, I can do it for you. Here we go. Look, we're getting taught a little tactical lesson here, folks. It's like Bielsa's press conference.
We do tactics too,
Yeah. I'll zoom in for you a little bit.
So for me, the key against Brighton is flexibility, because they are a very good side, and there's a potential it starts to go wrong in this game. So the idea behind what I've done is pretty much how we lined up against Fulham. But obviously with our proper centre backs in there, and Adams and Rocker in there. Obviously, we have Rocker in there because we miss him when he doesn't have that when he doesn't have the chance to play, he doesn't have the chance to get on the ball and play passes out to the wings and do all that sort of stuff that he's good at. McKennie, whilst he's good at tackling and whilst he's very physical, he's not as positionally aware enough, I don't think, to play in a double pivot next to Tyler Adams as a holding midfielder. So with him playing a little bit further forward, he's able to do the stuff that he likes to do and get forward and get into the box. And hopefully his final ball is a little bit better because he's played in the Champions League. It must just be his form at the moment. But the idea is that if Leeds are under the cosh a little bit, McKennie can sit in and make that a 3. We've got the flexibility there for McKennie to drop between Rocker and Adams, make it a little bit of a midfield 3. And also, if you're playing a 4-2-3-1 like this, to make it a 4-3-3, all you need to do is tell Aronson and Somerville to go and support Rutter and go a bit higher up. Yeah, just go up the wings. And so I think against a team like Brighton, who haven't got the best squad in the world, but actually are a very good side and well coached, flexibility could be a key thing, because we've seen so many times at Elland Road where a game starts to go wrong and then we just can't figure out what to do about it, especially under Jesse Marsh. That was always his downfall, is that when a game goes wrong, he's got no idea how to fix it. But I think this gives you options before you even need to make a substitution. Obviously, Nonto's on the bench as well, but I think the way Somerville played later on in the game against Chelsea, he was excellent driving us forward. absolutely like running rings around Koulibaly, making him come out and make fouls. And I think him and Aronson have got that little bit of spark in there. And then if you need it later on, you bring on Willy Gnonto, and he can light things up as well. So yeah, I just think against Brighton, you need a little bit of flexibility. And obviously Rutter up front is on the notion that Bamford won't be back fit. But even if he is, I would still be tempted to start Rutter up front. But really, I'm desperate to see Sinisterra back as well, because I think he comes in and fills one of those attacking midfield positions, probably the central one. And he could do really well in there. But yeah, that's just what I think about the Brighton game.
No,
Max, I'd agree. I don't mind that side, but I think with the wingers that they've got, we're going to need a lot more help defensively. So I'd pull Somerville out and start Gnonto, put Aronson on the right. That's the only change I'd make. Start Gnonto, drop Somerville. I don't think he works hard enough defensively, and we suffered that first half an hour of that Chelsea game.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, nice one, Max, for that. Jer, any thoughts on that? I know you were nodding along there.
Yeah, it's same concerns that the lads have said there as well. But I something bugged me yesterday about Somerville was just his moaning and whinging off the ball and throwing his hands in the air instead of working his ass to get back and cover and rolling around. His hands got sore because he fell behind the goal, but he was wearing gloves and he was complaining about his hands being sore. It's like, A, why are you wearing gloves? It's spring. B, get up. Like, you're playing for Leeds, mate. You're not allowed to be soft. You've got to be a bit tougher than that. And I that worries me with him. I have no issue with that. My concern is that I don't think McKennie's a 10. And what I did notice yesterday was McKennie was the player coming in to get the ball off the back four to get us out from the back, where Adams had been struggling with that first pass out from the back line. I think, especially in the first half, it was a lot more of it was McKennie coming back in, getting it and starting moves than Adams. And I think he does that quite well. The Rutter is a central defensive midfielder. Yeah, he's probably our most creative forward passer. So you're in that weird bracket of, do you leave him as a CDM or do you push him into the 10 and let him go and try and be creative up there? I didn't like them against Fulham in the 3. I thought we were way too easy to push through, but that could just be again a case because that didn't have the proper defenders behind them and there wasn't the communication, probably wasn't as good. Yeah, I don't know what our best looking team is. I mean, if they put that team out next week, Max, I'd have zero issue with it. You know, you just want to see the lads working hard. And again, I haven't a huge problem with McKennie. I think we're expecting things from certain players who maybe that's not what they're good at or not their role. McKennie wasn't brought in as a creative number 10. He was brought in as a box to box midfielder or halfway line to box midfielder. So we're asking him to be the creative player. I think when he finds himself in those areas, he doesn't have a huge goal scoring record as a midfielder either, even at Juve, which is a much slower league. So I don't know. I do think we're missing a spark in there. I agree 100% with what Rocco said. We need Sinisterra back in this team at this point. If we're to go on a run through with the kit, and think about at one point we had Gnonto, 19, Rutter 19, Somerville 21 was a front 3 at one point. It's exciting in 4 or 5 years' time. It's a bit concerning right now that we don't. I heard the square ball say it's a shame we didn't buy number 9 for now, but then at the same time, you didn't expect Rodrigo and Bamford to get injured again at the exact same time, you know. And ironically, I know you mentioned Gelhardt. I think Gelhardt would do quite well in this system. I think he'd get a lot more of the ball. He'd see an awful lot more of it. Where the other systems we played, he kind of found himself on the edge of the game where the ball wasn't coming in around the areas he was in. So I think he'd do better in it. But it's like I said, the Chelsea game's not the one to worry about, but we've got 2 decent fixtures coming up before we have to travel down to Arsenal, you know. So there's a chance to get some points on the board there. And then after that, you've got 3 home games on the bounce against 2 teams we can beat, and maybe one we can get a result against. So there's a possibility of 3, 6, 9, 12 points in the next 18.
Next few weeks are huge, aren't they? I was looking at it yesterday and I was like...
April as a month. If you look at April, you've got away to Arsenal, home to Forest, home to Palace, home to Liverpool, away to Fulham, home to Leicester, away to Bournemouth. That's a month that keeps you up or puts you down.
It's a good job because May is absolutely terrifying.
It's shocking.
Yeah. And the worst thing is as well, Luke, like the teams that are there will all be fighting for positions as well. Like Newcastle will be in for Europe. I think West Ham will be fighting relegation. City are challenging Arsenal for the title, and I think is the other one.
Spurs is the last game, yeah.
Again, Europe. So it's like there's going to be no gimmies, man. None of this. They're on the beach tackle, is there? You know what I mean? It's going to be to the end. Luke, staying with you, right? We've put up that lineup, and Nick makes this point, and I've heard it a lot and seen it a lot. He says you can put up all the systems and lineups you like. The truth is, the quality is missing all over the park. Are we overrating this side, and are we just a little bit rubbish?
No, I don't think so. I think we've shown on numerous occasions, even not recently, even under Jesse Marsh, we've shown that individually we have got the quality. We have got quality players in that side. There's no denying that. You can try and strip it back as much as you like, but the argument is that we've got players that can terrify any team in the Premier League. We've got them. We've got solid players now at the back, which was the biggest issue. So that's not our biggest concern at the moment. Our biggest concern now is confidence. Simply for me, I think once the players start feeling a bit more confident and get a little bit of a streak together, we might see us scoring 7 one day too soon.
When are we playing Scum again?
Colin did say early on, I'd rather be in our boots. Thanks anyway, Colin, for the super chat, brother. I know you watch a lot. Thank you. Fellow Irishman of JUSTJOE Parish. He said, I'd rather be in our boots than those of West Ham, Forest or Everton. We are all frustrated by the game. Go on, mate.
I think everyone's overlooking Crystal Palace. They're dropping like a rock. They are just plummeting down the table.
Leicester as well, mate. Leicester as well. I keep saying to Locks. I don't know if I'm just doing that because I'm on the wind up, but I still think they're not out of it. But he says Brighton at home could be Grazia's era start and 7-0. Haha to them lot. We have to laugh. We do indeed. Liam Moore as well, great super chat. Thanks, mate. He says, I was in bed with the missus last night and she asked me what's wrong. I said, I just really miss Rodrigo. I replied, it didn't go down well. His return is crucial. And I put out a tweet earlier on today, a picture of Sinisterra and Rodrigo Rocco. And for me, they are that clinical edge that we need. I think Sinisterra in and around the box. We've seen it, I think, against Everton. Yeah, it was Everton, wasn't it? I was thinking of, because I know Rafinha did one the previous season, and I'm like, am I thinking about Rafinha there? But he's one that can shoot almost anywhere from outside the box, and there's a chance it goes in. And Rodrigo this season has been very clinical. I think, look, I know Rutter's look wasn't in when Koulibaly got in the way of it, but if Rodrigo's there, I just somehow think it finds its way to the back of the net because it's Rodrigo and he's in hot form. Is it as simple as us getting them back and hopefully things will improve, Rocco?
I think I mean, you'd expect it to improve. And I think as well, as it's been touched on before, it's such a young squad. And actually one thing that Graham Souness said after the game today, he said, I don't know what context it was, but I just heard him say it. He said, "You've got half a chance if you've got good senior pros at the club." We've got that. We've got Ayling at the moment. That's it. Cooper's injured, and then even beyond that, we've got Rodrigo. And then people like Sinisterra. He's like one of the more senior players, even though he's 22, 23, because he's played in the top level and proved himself in a country somewhere else and played internationally. So. We are really, really, really light on experienced professionals, and I think them two coming back, and Rodrigo certainly, like, he's proved that he is a leader. I think that could be a big help, and it got me thinking. Even last season, and even before, when we lose Pablo and Berardi and Alioski out the squad, and then injuries to Phillips and Bamford and Cooper. And that's when it got really, really bad. Like, we weren't having a great season anyway, but it just shows you how important having some real experience is to help these young players. And I think that is a big part of our problem right now, is that, we've got Ayling on his own trying to carry the can as the one senior pro in that squad that's sort of been there and done it and a bit grizzled. And, that was always my main worry this season, to be fair. And we just need those big players back.
You've got Dallas, Cooper, Forshaw, Rodrigo, all out injured. Yeah. There's your senior pros. And
Click's gone.
And Click's gone. Correct. So That's all of your senior pros.
Click would have been minting this side, you know, on the
Stop
Grazia.
it, Joe. Stop it. You're upsetting
He
everybody.
would have, though. He would have, right?
Of course he would have, yeah. Yeah, he would have been brilliant in this.
Yeah. imagine
Strange
the little
decision, that
ball-
wasn't it?
The ball's in behind. You know, like McKennie, when the one at Fulham that you mentioned, that's straight on Somerville's foot. No bother. Back of the net, 1-0. Leeds probably win.
It's Southampton as well, running through and goal. Click goes for goal. You know, Click just keeps running straight for goal.
Yeah.
Score. Like it's.
Oh no! He scored on his debut. He scored on his debut
banger.
for Dallas. For
Belter and all, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh
You're at
man.
the point where you're sitting back now, looking at it, going,
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, okay, yeah. This could be at the end of the year. We could look back and go, that was the mistake. There was a couple of them, but that's in there. Yeah.
I'm not having
Bittersweet
this
seeing him
either.
score that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm not having this, Michael, that his legs are gone. Not
Nah,
too much.
well, do you know what? In as far as Pablo's legs were gone when we got up as well, they can still do a job. And, you know, and there's still a position for them. Like, you're not asking huge amounts of work for number 10. You're asking them to go slightly left and right and link to play when you get the ball in the final third. You're asking them to try and create passes in mind. You don't have to do massive amount of running as a number 10. You just need to be clever. And he is. Click was clever, as was Pablo. So it's that bit. But they're not here anymore. So that's upsetting.
Yeah. I'm just having a look now. We've got an international break, haven't we, between...
And Rodrigo's due back the week before.
When
ahead
is
of
that?
schedule.
When's the international break?
We've got Wolves. We've got Brighton at home. Wolves away. Arsenal.
And then is there a
And then the international. Then it's the international break. Then we've got Arsenal away.
We'll come
It's the
back.
first game back.
So we have Rodrigo back for the Arsenal game. Should do. All going well.
So with that in mind then, lads, we're coming up towards the hour. We've got Brighton and Wolves away. Wolves, they're so up and down. 1 minute they're beating Liverpool, next minute they're losing. Obviously they beat Spurs 1-0, but Spurs are in dire straits, in absolute dire straits. But it is still Spurs, you know, they are still a good side, like the Chelsea one. So take it for what it is. But how many points are we getting out of them next two between now and that international break? Max, I'm going to come to you first.
How many games was it, did you say?
Two. Brighton and Wolves. Is there 3?
No, I think you're right.
I think it's 2, right?
If it's 2, then 4 points, I think, from those 2 games. And I honestly think we win against Brighton. We break our duck and our bogey team. We win against Brighton, then against Wolves. I think we're going to struggle away.
Wolves is away
in away games,
Wolves away.
So that's what
Wolves
I mean.
away.
So I think we've got more of a chance against Brighton this Saturday, which I'll be at. Which I'm going to be in the East Stand Upper for the first time ever because it was a ballot ticket. So I'll have a more tactical view of the entire pitch from above, from up there.
Sitting in the posh seats, Max. Sitting in the posh seats.
Is
You're
how
not
I'm
allowed
gonna
to
tell
stand up
myself
there,
because,
mate. If you stand up there, they're like, sit down, please. Sit down.
I know it's going to be awful, but I still get to see Leeds. So, but yeah, I think that's the one where we win. I think we're going to do all right in this game. Please don't clip this after we lose 4-0. They've just done that to West Ham, haven't they? So, yeah, I think we win that one, and I think we draw away at Wolves. I think it's going to be a ball draw away at Wolves.
Take it.
But yeah, 4 points is okay. Yeah,
4 points. Yeah, I
Happy
think 4
with that,
points in those 2 games. Absolutely. And I thought Wolves would be a hell of a lot better under Lopetegui than they've been.
Yes,
I still think they're beatable. They should be better. They are. They really should be. They're talking about teams that've got better players in their position. The league states Wolves should be much higher up the table than they are, but they're not. And they're not safe either. So there's still a bit of, when you get down there, if things aren't going their way as well, the crowd will get on their back as well. So if we get 4 points out of the next 2 games going to the break, and we can come back with Sinisterra and Rodrigo fit going into that April month with a full fit squad, that's not bad. That could be okay. Put you on 29. Put you on 29 points.
Listen, 5:38, which I check every single morning after every single game just to see if they've got us finishing bottom yet. They've got us still finishing about 16th with Everton and Forest below us. And Forest, listen, they're in trouble. I know people. I was on a different. Yeah, I was on a different stream the other day, and a Man United fan was saying, he was like, "Oh, the 7th in form table," and that. I was like, what about 5 weeks ago? Not now, they're not. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what they're watching, but then again, they don't care about us down the bottom end of the table. They don't exist past the top 6, but it is what it is. But Yeah, listen, they've got us finishing 16th. 16th and Forest in 17th and Everton going down. So we'll have to wait and see. Listen, I spend so much time on fantasy Premier League. I consider myself a bit of a don on there these days. And I go on the fixture difficulty rating, and I think after Arsenal, them 2 home games against Forest and Palace are huge.
Massive.
Huge. I'm nervous looking at it, to be fair. But Joe, Brighton Wolves, what we getting?
4 points.
4? Cool.
I think a away draw is a good result, and I think we have to beat Brighton at home. We have to start winning games at home if we're going to get out of this mess. So that's what it is for me. That puts you on 20. What 20? Take 4 points. That puts you on 24 points. Then you're looking at if you can get 9 in April. That's not enough. Yeah, it's going to be tight.
It is very tight, very tight. And you are right, Jamie. That site's got my life. I can't lie to you. I even use it to put together my accumulators now as well, because they give percentage on wins. I still don't win.
Does it work?
Nope. It's always one team, bro. It's always one team. Yeah, I don't know why I do it.
Bet on Leeds, mate.
Well, I didn't yesterday. No, I just stayed away from that fixture. Luke, Brighton versus Brighton and Wolves. What are we getting?
Yeah, I'm not as optimistic. I think they're 2 of our tougher fixtures coming up towards the end of the season. In the running, certainly.
Please
April
don't say 0. Please.
No, I'm not going to say 0. I think we might win one of them, but it'll be very close. I think a more conservative 1 or 2 points. I think a draw or maybe two draws. That'll be the best outcome for us.
Nice. 2 points. Smart. He says if we finish higher than 17th, I'm paying for Luke's trip to Turkey for a sparkly new Barnet. If we finish 15th, you've got to take me as well. Smart.
Can I get on that? Can I?
Yeah. We'll all get on it, man. We'll all.
Gonna win 7-0.
Yes, I love that. Was that your little one, Luke?
Yeah, she's clung to me at the minute.
We are going to win 7-0. Make sure you check out Smart. Your auto knows better as well. Rocker. I always do that, don't I? Rocco, actually, before I ask you a prediction, mate, how was Madrid and the book?
Yeah. I mean, I was there for my day job, but it was a good crack. Went to Bernabeu to watch the Atletico game, the Madrid derby. Atmosphere was absolutely shocking. Honestly, you wouldn't believe it. It was like going to the theatre. It was crazy. One guy shushed his girlfriend for screaming. That's how bad the atmosphere was. Wow. I was right at the very top, like right in the top tier.
So maybe she just wasn't a fan of the other team.
It's just ridiculous. But yeah, a good trip, thank you.
When's the book out?
The book is out. It's Marcelo Bielsa versus the Premier League, and it's out in the summer. No confirmed date just yet. Submitted it to the publisher this week. So yeah, sometime in the summer, hopefully in time for your summer holiday.
Good. I want it so I can put it behind me here. I'm gonna replace Phil Hayes, and it was beautiful with Rocco's. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's emotional.
Yeah, I bet. Also, I sort of fell out of love a bit with Phil when he announced the sacking of Bielsa when I was just getting on the bus back to the.
You didn't sack him.
No, but he no, he didn't. But genuinely, right, that game, right, I came out of the ground and got on the bus that takes you to the
station.
Oh no, like the services. What's it called now? Oh, the Park and Ride. What's it called? Anyway, you can get a bus outside Ellen Road. Which one?
The White Rose?
No, not the White Rose. The one towards more further up north. Me and I forget the name, and it's been that long since I ain't gone. Anyway, you get on a bus. We were sat on the bus, and he tweeted out straight away, and I was like, "You bastard!" But I was just mad.
I was more annoyed later in the evening. Like later in the evening, he tweeted a eulogy to Bielsa's era without like expanding on the story. Like he hadn't been sacked at that point, and he just left everyone hanging. I was fuming after that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
give us your points. Anyway.
Yeah, my points. I'm going to say that we'll win one of the two. So I'll go with 3 points.
3.
I reckon probably Wolves. To be honest, I feel like I think we might be better off away from home. You know, we can stay solid again, and then just get the breaks that we need in front of goal. And I know we went through 92, 93 without winning away, but surely we're due an away win. So I'm gonna predict 3 points. Hopefully 4.
Someone's going to have to do it. We're going fucking 6. Someone's going to have to do it. I might not fully believe it, but yeah, listen. If
me and you have switched roles, Joe, recently. I'm like, fucking fuck life. And you're like, we're going to do it. Champions League.
Because it was Jesse, bro. Jesse brought me down to this. Do you know what the mad thing is, Luke, right? I genuinely go on my comments now and people are going, always predicting wins. I'm like, have you been living in about 2 weeks ago? It was the other way.
In 2 weekends, I've been called my usual happy clapper. Then I've been called, we're always on Twitter and you're always negative. And then in one post last week, one reply to one review, 2 different people went, God, you're so negative all the time, Jared. Jared, here's Jared, always positive, doesn't look at the facts. And they're going, how is that in the same screen?
It's brilliant, mate. Honestly, it just makes me laugh. Someone actually asked me the other day, after Chelsea, Joe, have you actually played football at any level? Sunday League, anything? I'm just curious. So I replied saying, why do you want to know? Please let me know, because I wanted to know what his argument was going to be, and he's still not replied to me. But I'm like, I want to know what he's going to try and say. Then I can go, well, I actually played for my district, so have it.
We're talking about Fickle. I did a poll after, was it Everton? I think it might have been at Everton or somebody. Anyway, recently asking who was the better player out of Aronson, Rutter, and Harrison. Anyway, Harrison won outright. He'd had a stinker, but he won outright. Anyway, I did that same poll today, and Rutter won by a country mile. So, in a week, the people have changed their opinion completely.
I actually put Aronson in that poll.
Yeah, I think it's the most technical.
Yeah, I put Aronson in that poll actually, and then again, under Jesse, I was going, I was calling him Brendan Mount and all that sort of stuff. It was like Lampard and Mason Mount. We are a fickle bunch, but it is what it is. Listen, Leeds United are going to win against Brighton at the weekend and hopefully get something away at Wolves. Maybe 4 points is probably more realistic. If we get 0, then maybe I am saying, yeah, we're fucked. But I think we will get at least 1 win out of them 2 games. We shall see. Folks, make sure you check out Max over at Leeds Lately. Make sure you check out Joe on the Leeds United The View. Daily videos dropping. And obviously Luke over at Ought to Know Better. Berardi and Coke, sorry, should I say, would have been done yesterday. And make sure you check out Rocco over at Leeds That. And we've also got Kate, who was going to be a sub for Chris, but then decided to go out because I told her that Chris was coming. She's having a life, you know what I mean? What can I do? And then Chris just can't be asked talking about Leeds at the minute because, yeah, we're shit. So I get it. But make sure you go and follow them. Thanks always for watching. Smash a like, subscribe, all that jazz. Does anyone want to leave us with anything? No? All good?
No? 7 Heaven.
7 Heaven, yeah. I was going to go, I've got 5 on it, but that don't work, does it? I got 7 on
Oh my
it.
God. I think this is the slowest it's ever taken a joke to land in history. I've only just realized why you had a 7-Up can at the start of the video.
Genuinely, when I was on my own and I went like that, you were going, why has he done that?
Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
Brilliant. Did you go and get out and get that specially, Joe? Did you have it in the fridge?
No, I went and got it specially, man. You got to do it for the content. You got to do it for the content. I weren't really having a shit, mate. I was running back from shop.
What time did it shut?
No, I did get it. Honestly, I did get it. I thought, do you know what? I'm gonna have to get a can of 7-Up. So all for the content, even when you're crying and getting battered on social media. Don't give a shit. Anyway, folks, smash a like. Thanks as always for watching. No Bomboleo tonight because we didn't win. So we'll see you on the other side.
Just a sad Bomboleo.
Yeah, Bomboleo. One of them ones. Yeah. Thanks, folks.